send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you, keep your light lit. Rappers can't see, most of them scared to witness. Go and close your eyes, there's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences, 23 and 1 out. Praying that that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury, I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. It's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Going on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic. My bomb atomic, and you know where you can find me. Somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper. Got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home with change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on her face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. That's why I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Taha Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Light is in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed, y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. It can't, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on the storm in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in the storm in my whole life. My whole life.
Hear the hunger in my voice, they used to tell me to speak up. The problem wasn't what I was saying, they couldn't keep up. Instead of moving around with some patience, they tried to speed up. It got colder than a bitter bitch, found me a way to heat up. What's a favor for a favor if we all didn't make it? Kept it 100 with everybody, but they just gon' change. I ain't get caught up in the hype, cause I ain't feel like I made it. Couldn't picture me here now, but here's your moment to frame it. And I ain't never understand that self-entitlement spirit. I felt your vibe, I don't wanna get near it. Before I made the appearance, I took a second, took a look in the mirror. This God, Lord, the only thing that I fear. Y'all got me fucked up. It's all passion, it's tradition, it ain't fashion. It's no action, they make threats and it's still passing. I think massive, no respond, that's still tact. Y'all should quit rapping. Cheap shots, I'm cinematic. I ain't average, I'm an overthrow fanatic. How I go, you lose and win like asthmatic. I got first, that's automatic. I'm the best in my division. In the ghetto like the pigeons, in the hood like the engine. You a bird for that chicken. I don't fake split decisions cause my mind made up, nigga. We in the end of time, but my time ain't up, nigga. I was young and running wild and wide-eyed like a cabbage patch. I had to get it as vivid, adapted to my habitat. It's certain shit I won't do, certain shit you can't prove. My shit sound like a payday, yours like more when the rent. If I had $1 for every dime you counted, I would be broke. Watch it be close, got a better chance, boxing the goal. And they know I'm raw, and they know the squad, and I'm feeling large, still in charge. I don't make it follow, I follow the law. Standing tall like they here on Mars. I just got a call from my bro, he behind the wall, he told me let it off. Niggas lying for some cat, I got a different line in me. Everybody intimidated, I got that guy in me. You get focused on them dimes, I'd rather keep my nine with me. Help me get this off the ground, just know you won't fly with me now. try and play it cool, but that ain't gon' be the deal. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home truth, I ain't never had to choose. I'm tryna get beamed up, man, y'all try and make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gon' pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home of the truth, y'all ain't never had to choose. Tryna get beamed up, man, y'all try and make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gon' pay the bill. Y'all out here looking like fool. Home of the truth, y'all ain't never had to choose. Tryna get beamed up.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my taxes. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mass shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I know exactly what they want. Exactly what they want.
I know exactly what they want. Just be patient. My name is my name, power and glory, I never change. Stand on loyalty, remain the same. Say what you mean, speak on my name, you go to war with me. We move the same, you think that it's for me. Running the game, kicking the door with me. All through the pain, the snow, the rain, the ups and downs. My name did more for me, y'all keep the fame. I want the glory, been that nigga, bitches never ignored me. Rich in spirit, little bitch can't afford me. They want static, fix it with a 4G, red beam.
Shalom Yahweh Hashem El Shai Baruch Thumb to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Thumb Hashem El Shai to all the sisters, Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we've taught that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible, are the real Jews, the Israelites of antiquity, right? So we got another Wednesday night law class. It's Wednesday night around. We're about to start going into our topic, and tonight our topic is going to be the streets lead to death, right? And what are we talking about? We're talking about the street life, gangs, joining up with a bunch of people who have the intention of sinning against the Lord, right? And that's our topic. We're going to teach you how we're supposed to be, who's to blame for why Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, or Black and Hispanic men in the streets, in the major cities in Canada, are quick to go into the streets, right? Who's to blame? Is it just the oppressor, or is there someone else to blame along with why so many Black people are turning away from the Lord and turning to a life of crime? Right, so we're going to be going into it. If you're watching, hit the share button, hit the like button, get your pen and pad, get you a strong drink or something to snack on while we're here for the next 2 hours, and we go into these scriptures. And I got an article that we're going to read, right? Because there's something that we see throughout the news, and you hear it in your neighborhoods, you hear it at the family functions, right? So many of our young brothers and sisters, they're turning to crime, or they're turning to a life in the streets. They're letting the streets be their father at a younger and younger age, right? It's something that you used to hear it in the 80s, where kids would be like, yeah, I was on my own since 14, or I've been in these streets since 14. In Canada, that's not something you really seen, right? You don't hear about too many kids turning into the streets until about mid-high school. Some of these kids are dropping out of high school. To be honest, that was something you heard about in the 80s. It was something that you never really seen. And now, as you see it, the Canadian youth, the Black and Hispanic children in Canada, they are turning to these streets very young, right? The streets is becoming their role model, their guidance, their counselors at a very young age. It's a bunch of people who don't listen. Our youth are looking up to children who don't. They're looking up to grown men who don't give a damn about them, and they think that these people love them, and they're leading them down a path that's not righteous for them, right? And this is what we're going to be going into later on tonight, or as the night goes on. Just bear with me a second. So I forgot I was supposed to set up that TikTok. Damn. Hold up. Bear with me a second. Oh man. Bear with me a moment. We are getting back to it right now. All right, so I have my article. I got my article. We're going to be going into it later. If you're watching, hit the like button, hit the sign-in link for class. If you got any questions or comments, you can type your questions regarding the topic in the chat. Right, hit the sign-in link. So let's get into it. Right, so my first precept that we're going to be going into, right, is the book of Baruch, right? You could find that in your Apocrypha. Now you can find that in your Apocrypha. Let's find Baruch. Hold up. Pause that for a second. All right, so we're going to be going into Baruch. And listen, a lot of Christian pastors, they know nothing of this Apocrypha, right? So we're going into this Apocrypha. The Apocrypha is definitely a Tawab book to read. It's good. It has many stories that we could go into, right? And a lot of it is the oppression of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Good night. What am I looking for? Found it. All right. All right. So we're back at it. Right. If you're watching on TikTok, this is the Wednesday night law class. Our topic is the streets will unalive you. Right. That's our topic. Hit the sign-in link. We're going to be going into our topic. I have an article that I'm going to read a little later. Right. I have an article that I'm going to read a little later, and it's going to go into what we're talking about, right? Because earlier we were talking about children going into this street culture, this street life at a very, very young age. So let's get into it. Where is the book of Baruch? Hold up. All right, so we got the book of Baruch. This is the book of Baruch 4 verses 1. This is the book of commandments of God, right? So again, we're talking about this topic. The streets will unalive you, right? Listen, a lot of kids go into these streets because they don't have someone to watch over them, right? They don't understand that there's someone to watch over you. There is a way of life that we're supposed to live, right? And the people watching over these young children, they're not protecting them. So they're falling into a way of life that is detrimental to them, right? The street life, the life of gang culture, and the horrible things that happen to many people who participate in street life is very preventable, right? You could prevent it by going to the book of Baruch and reading chapter 4, verse 1. So again, this is the book of commandments of God and the law that endureth forever. So there is a law. There's a law that we're supposed to follow, a way of life for the children of Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? There is a way of life that we're supposed to live, the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, right? So keeping this law is going to keep us alive instead of being unalived, right? And that's what happens when we stray away from our law, from our commandments, from basically our constitution, the way of life that we're supposed to live. Instead of going to the streets and letting the streets play the father role, we're supposed to understand that all they that keep it shall come to life. And that's talking about the commandments. The Christian pastor, listen, if you go into any church, we're on TikTok right now, right? If you go into any TikTok live stream where someone has a Bible and are reading it, and ask them, should they keep the law, right? Do they have to keep the commandments of the Bible? More than likely, they're going to make an argument of which commandments, because people like to pick and choose which commandments are supposed to be kept, right? Now, if someone's going to say which commandments, that means they're content with the crime that goes on in their neighborhood, right? If you are going to pick and choose which commandments you're supposed to live by, you're content with Salakia. You're content with the dope dealing that happens in your neighborhood. You're content with the adult work, right? We'll say it like, because we're on TikTok, right? Adult work that goes into your neighborhood, the buying and the selling. You're content with that if you're saying you don't have to keep the law, right? So let's read more. There's the way of life that okay, you're wondering why your household is destroyed and why your children are going into the streets and why your children are filling up jails, right? Because there's a way of life that we're supposed to live. There's rank and order in our life and how we're supposed to live and how we're supposed to be as a people, right? And you could find that in the New Testament. I understand that a lot of people, especially when it comes to this Bible, they only like the New Testament. So I'm going to read something out of the New Testament that Christians should not be angry at, right? Christians should definitely not be angry at what I'm going to read, because it's a way of life for us. It's how we're supposed to live. It's how we're, again, I'm just going to read it for you, right? So let's go to Matthew, Salakia. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. We'll start there. Let me just get with you. Give me a moment. Right? So again, there's a rank and order. And when there's no rank and order in your house, right, we serve a God of war. When there's no rank and order in your house, your children are going to grow up in these streets and be an embarrassment to you, be a disappointment, be something that is not good for their community. And there's only, again, the blame has to fall at the hands of our oppressors and at the feet of the Christian pastor, the Christian church, because the Christian church is not teaching this they're not teaching the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans how we're supposed to live, what rank and order is, how the household is supposed to be ran, right? So we're going to go to Paul's writings. Paul is going to explain what he's talking about. This is how we're supposed to live. This is how we're supposed to, everything that you're going to hear tonight, again, you should write it down, is going to save your life. If not, it's going to fix your community, right? This is how you fix your community. This is how you keep your daughters out of the clubs with the poles where they dance in the nude for money. This is how you keep your sons out of the jails and out of the trap houses, right? So let's go to 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even as I am of Christ, right? This is Paul talking, saying, follow him like he followed Christ, right? Paul was taught by Christ. When Christ left, he left the schools to Paul, right? Paul was in charge of these schools. Right now, commanding, until Christ comes, we have commanding General YAHANNA in charge of these schools, in charge of our nation, right? And listen, commanding General YAHANNA is the definition of a strong brother, a brother that's not going to fold and keep his nation in check, make sure his nation is being built up, for lack of better terms of words, right? verse 2. Again, this is 1 Corinthians 11, verse 2. And now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. Right? So Paul's basically saying, keep the ordinances that the Most High sent to us, right? Via Christ, right? That's what Paul's talking about. He's talking about keeping those ordinances, because that's how you keep your nation or your people from falling into the oppressor's dope, right? Listen, look at all the so-called Negro communities, right? The Hispanic communities, right? There was a time when our communities wasn't flooded with dope. There was a time when we could go into our neighborhoods and walk down the street and not be afraid of the drive-by. There was a time when only Caucasians were doing drive-bys, right? Now you're seeing where Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're falling into the trap that the oppressor set. The oppressor set these traps, and Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were falling into it. So-called people of color are falling into these traps, the children of Israel, right? Paul wanted us to remember him, meaning act like how he acted. Love your nation how he loved his nations. Right. So again, this is how we're going to keep so-called black men out the streets, right? So what happens is, a lot of times whenever you see a black man on TV talking about how to save his nation, you're going to get somebody who wants to talk about academics and credentials, right? All the academics and credentials hasn't saved black people. Just get that through your mind. Like, all the academics and the credentials, all the book smarts, all the people who can regurgitate a paragraph out of a book, who could pass these tests and these exams, they have nothing for black people. They have nothing to save the so-called black community, the so-called Hispanic community, right? Furthermore, what you're going to find out is a lot of these college students, they are, just to even get through college, they're doing dope, right? They're taking these pills that give them energy so they could struggle through college to. I'm just going to keep it plain. These kids are coming out of college with drug addictions. They're doing speed in college. They're doing bumps in college. There's more snow in college than Alaska, right? And that's what happens. And those are the same people who are going to come and tell you that you got to have a degree to wake up black people. When you go through the hood, you go through the neighborhoods that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans live in, there's nobody with a degree coming to help them, right? All you people with degrees, when was the last time you went to the reservations and tried to get Native Americans off dope? I'll wait. If you're in the comments talking about a degree, tell me when the last time you went, right? Listen, John, Marshall, Ben, whatever your name is, when was the last, and Aaron, when was the last time you guys went to the reservation to get Native Americans off dope? Just type your answer in. Right, so let's get back to it, right? So there's a way of life that we're supposed to live. There's basically we have a standard of life. We're not supposed to be thugs. We're not supposed to be gangsters, right? You can a Black, Hispanic, or Native American can never be more gangster than the Caucasian, right? You can never commit more crime than the people who committed crime to get Australia. You can never commit more crime than the people who committed crime to have a Canadian government. It's not going to happen. The second you start committing crime, they're going to go to your car dealership and tap the Bluetooth of your car, right? There's black men in jail right now because they thought they were going to be so They thought they could trick the government. They thought they could get away with the crimes that they've committed. And listen, a lot of times you get away with it for a little. You get away with it for a little, for a time being. And then that stuff catches up with you. Right? Them people are not playing. They're going to let you do enough just so they can build a case that you can't beat, to give you some time so you could go work in their towns, right? The crime in Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities keeps towns like Penetanguishene or Kingston, Ontario alive. That's where the jails are, in Ontario, Canada. Right? So let's get back to it. Again, we're in 1 Corinthians 11:3, right? But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And why is that important? Why is rank and order important? The head of every man is Christ, right? Because we have to be in order, right? We serve a God of order, right? When you go into the Bible, you find out that it says we serve a God of order, right? You're gonna find out it says our God, our power, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is a man of war. To go to war, you have to have rank and order, right? This is why we're failing, because there's no rank and order in our households, right? You wonder why you go into certain jails and it is filled with the people who make the smallest, okay, so what is the population of so-called Hispanics, right? What is the population? And when I'm talking about Hispanics, I'm talking about the people who were forced to speak Spanish from the people who came from Spain, right? Your so-called Mexicans, your so-called Brazilians, your so-called Guatemalans, right? Your so-called people from Honduras, right? Why is the jails filled with so-called Hispanics and Blacks and Native Americans in Canada? Right? Is anybody want to answer the question? Right? If you're watching and you're live, we're also on TikTok, we're on Instagram, Salakia. We do have an Instagram page, right? I.S.U.P.K Toronto. But we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook right now, we're on YouTube. Who could answer the question, why are the jails filled with so-called Hispanics? Right? Why is it filled with so-called Negroes? Right? Why is it when we go to when you go park up outside of the Toronto South Detention Center in downtown Toronto in Etobicoke, right? You can see Black and Hispanic families predominantly going to those jails. If you keep listening, you're gonna eventually get the answer, right? You just gotta, if no one has the answer in the chat, I'll eventually give it to you. You just gotta pay attention. Again, get your pencil, take notes. If you have questions, Mauricio, I'm not sure if I pronounced your name properly, right? What's so called about being from a country? Like, explain your question some more. Like, what do you mean by that exactly? Right. So again, this is 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ. Why is that important? Because who is the head of the household now? Who is running the so-called Hispanic, Native American, and Black household now? Right. That's why this is important. What you're gonna find out is it's not the men. It's not the strong men. The strong men have been kicked out of the house, right? Women run the household. Big mama, right? Abuela. That's who's running the household right now. You find that out because the church has set it up that way, right? The oppressor's Christianity has leaked into Hispanic and so-called Negro households, right? With the oppressor's Christianity, you get the oppressor's femininity. Right, you get his trap of feminism, which makes all sisters believe that they're supposed to be running the household. Right, you look into the jails and do a survey, and you're gonna find out a large portion of the brothers in these jails, as well as sisters, come from single households, right? And that single household is predominantly the mother. They come from single mother households. Now, if a single mother is such an esteemed thing to be, which it's clearly not, you wouldn't see so many brothers and sisters destroyed because of these single households. I said so-called Hispanic or so-called Latino, right? Mauricio. I'm saying so-called because before the people of Honduras were called the people of Honduras, they were called something else, right? The oppressor from Spain called them the names that they are today. That's what I mean. That's why I say so-called, right? It's like, okay, people look at me and say I'm black. I'm so-called black. I am not really black. Black is the color of my mouse right here, right? But again, if you look, I'm not black. You can see my skin color is not exactly black. It's brown, so we say so-called. Darwin, this is about getting Black and Hispanic and Native American children out of gangs and out of the street life, right? Because it's detrimental to our communities. That's what this is about, right? Let's go back to it. And the head of every woman is man, and the head of Christ is God, right? So there is a ranking order that we're supposed to have in our house, right? Listen, there are people who like to tell you that the woman is God, when that is absolutely not true. If the woman is God, why are our neighborhoods the way they are? Our neighborhoods are predominantly ran by women right now, right? Our sisters can't protect themselves without a man. That's why you don't really see sisters out by themselves in the late nights, right? After a certain time in the night, you're not going to see sisters out by themselves. It's a lot here. I gotta fix this. Damn. Right. So Marcio, again, Black people didn't start calling themselves Black. We called ourselves the children of Israel. And during oppression, during captivity, that's when we were giving the label Black, right? All right. So you're finding what we're going into again is the head of the woman is a man. The head of man is Christ. Christ has a head as well. That's God. There's rank and structure. There's supposed to be a way of life that we're supposed to live. With this ranking structure, once you have a man in the house, a strong man, your kids aren't going to be quick to go to the streets. Now, look, there are sometimes you have a man in the house and them kids still end up in the streets. That's because that man is not strong. He's not someone who has a solid foundation, who has wisdom he could teach his children, right? And again, just because a man goes to college or has a university degree, that does not mean he has wisdom. Again, listen, anybody who's from Palestine who's in this live, a couple weeks ago, a Palestinian woman tried to drive a car into a building with Black children in it. Answer why she did that or get out this live, right? If you're asking if Black people can prove that we're Israelites, if you just go to the book of Deuteronomy, which I'm going to go into later, the book of Deuteronomy proves that Black people, so-called Black people who went through slavery, are the Israelites, right? This whole Bible is about the condition of so-called Black people and the things that we went through, right? Listen, if Black people aren't Israelites, who are we, right? Everybody always... No one likes that Black people are the Israelites, right? Y'all want us to be your dope dealers. Y'all want us to be your basketball players, your rappers, your actors. You want our sisters to go into the strip club, right? Now we have Darren. Darren knows absolutely nothing of what he talks about I'm gonna show you right now. One moment. Right, so I got a book. Darren said the sons of Ham, so I got a book right here, right? This is the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. You should probably get one. Damn, you might not be able to see this. All right, you should see it now, right? You should get one. We're going to go to where it says Ham. Darren's not going to like that. I'm going to read this, right? He will say that we should trust him, that we so-called Negroes who went through slavery are the sons of Ham, right? We're just going to go through and read what it says about Ham. This is the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Again, this is not my words, but this is from the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races. So Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, Darren, not the Negroes. Again, this is the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. You can find it on page 330 and just read it. Read for yourself. Not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. There you have it. All right. So let's get back into what we're talking about. There is a way that you keep black children from going into the streets, and that is to keep the father in the house. That's to have rank and order, right? If you don't have a father in the house, and this is for some of you sisters, right? Y'all get so quick to listen to bitter women, you end up kicking your father out the house. You seen Tyrese's wife. Tyrese's wife said if she wasn't listening to the wrong people, she would have never divorced Tyrese, right? Y'all sisters got to stop listening to the wrong people, right? Y'all got to stop listening to the wrong people, the people that don't want your marriages to be successful. There is a group of people that want your children to commit crime because these judges need to have a job. The bailiffs to drive people from court to the jails need a job. The towns like Penetanguishene in northern Ontario and Kingston, Ontario, in the eastern part, the eastern part of Ontario, they need you to keep filling up their prison systems so they can have a job, because a lot of these prisons or a lot of these jails are the main source of income for many people in their town, right? Again, the street life leads to us being unalived. It's never been good to us. It's never been anything that is going to. All right, anybody in the chat, if you think the street life is okay, put a 1 in the chat. If you think being a gang member or black people, Hispanics, and Native Americans being gang members is okay, put a 1 in the chat, right? If you know someone who was in the streets, made a big bag from the streets and retired and still has that bag, right? And is still doing good with the money they got from the streets, put a 1 in the chat. I don't know any. Everybody that I know from the streets is either dead, smoking rocks, or in jail. Or they just don't participate in the streets no more because they understand how horrible it is. Good, nice. Someone said we're still. Listen, some of y'all just need to get off the dope. Y'all get in these lives and y'all just be saying anything that comes to your mind. You need counsel. You need to seek a mental health professional. Right. All right, so let's go to 2 Kings. We're going to go to 2 Kings 20:1. All right. Because again, we need to set our house in order. When our house is in order, that's how we stay out these streets. That's how we keep our listen, there's a point where there's a real point in my life that I just got tired of hearing about funerals, right? I got tired of hearing about one of my friends not making it, right? Even to right now, I know a bunch of people in jail that they just can't get it right. It's like they seem to keep going to jail, and this has been happening for the last 15 years of their lives, right? They just can't get it right. Some of them are Muslim. I know people who went to jail and converted to being Muslim, and that never helped them. Listen, I'm gonna let you know another secret, right? Every Muslim I know sells dope. Damn near. Like look at the city of Toronto. Look at the murders that are happening or the unalivings that are happening in a city like Toronto. You're finding out a lot of these kids who are unaliving each other, they're going to the mosque on Friday. They go to the same mosque. When those big religious days happen, they be in the same mosque with their head towards the carpet, right? They be in the same mosque with their head towards the ground, and then they're outside in the club district trying to unalive each other. They're outside at a strip club trying to unalive each other, right? So we're going to go to 2 Kings 20 and verse 1. Let me get it. One moment. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thy house in order. We need to have our house in order. That's how we're going to survive. That's how we're going to overcome the horrible circumstances that Blacks and Hispanics go through right now. Is setting our house in order. Hold up. Right. So again, that's how we're gonna have our house make our nation better. That's how we're going to have our nation be on top. We got to get our house in order. It's so simple. It seems like it's something that can't be done, right? Haven't you heard the phrase, you can't take niggas nowhere? They actively say you can't invite, what they're saying is you can't invite Black people nowhere, right? I know you watch Desperate Housewives and you watch all these shows and you think, damn, we can't invite a Black person nowhere, a so-called Negro anywhere. They're gonna start fighting. They're gonna fight. We're gonna have to listen. They want to make sure that we have no weapons on us when we're going into the restaurants. Like, damn, it's a restaurant. Who really brings weapons to a restaurant? You're gonna find out that this is what they think Black so-called Negroes are on. They like to say you can't invite us anywhere and take us anywhere because our house is not in order. Right? Our house needs to be in order. Right? Listen, money does not help us. You see Nipsey Hussle. All right, Nipsey Hussle for all. Nipsey Hussle is a. All right, I'm gonna take it away from Nipsey Hussle. Right? Nipsey Hussle is an Ethiopian. He's not technically what we call a Black man, a person who went through slavery. Right? Look at King Von. Look at the Toronto rapper Houdini. Right? Look at who Salakia. Who passed recently, a Toronto rapper, gave up the ghost not too recently. You had a young brother named DQ, right? DQ was out of Scarborough making music. Listen, not all the Toronto music sounds bad. Some of it sounds like some of it you could work out to. But you're seeing these young men in the city of Toronto are giving up their life. They're going in and out of the federal correctional facilities and out of the provincial facilities, and they're giving up their lives. Why is that? Right? Our house is not in order. Right? Isaiah told Hezekiah, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Right? Listen, it's time for us to set our house in order. That's what we need to do. Look at these brothers who have money. They're passing with money. Money has never helped black folks. Like, I know some of y'all think money's gonna help us, right? Listen, money did not help Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez is in a California correctional facility right now, and he had money. That did not help him. What helps black people, or so-called Negroes, so-called people of color? I'm gonna just say people of color. Right now I'm on TikTok. I'm trying not to get this thing shut down. I'm gonna just say people of color. What helps people of color? And when I say people of color, I'm talking about so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you're from another nation and you're wondering why I'm not talking about you, it's because more than likely you have someone to talk for you. And if something happens to you, the whole earth is going to protest. Listen, you're going to bring up George Floyd and say the whole earth protested for George Floyd. Yeah, that was one time. We've been going through this for centuries and no one's been protesting. No one goes to the UN and says, listen, what Canada, what the United Kingdom, what America, what the Asians and East Indians all throughout the Caribbean are doing to so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and Negroes is not right. No one does that. No one says, listen, we're going to give you billions of dollars to fight your oppressors. It doesn't happen. Right? Yeah, Tiger Stripe Silverback. Wow, that's a different name. That sounds like a gamer tag, Salakia. We lost our tongue. Right. When it comes to black people, to the so-called people of color, we lost more than that. We lost our heritage. We lost our sense of identity. And now we call ourselves by the names of everybody else. Right. Where are we? We read that. Let's go to... Listen, okay, again, let's go back into this. We need to get our house in order because money and these things don't help. And y'all, there's a famous brother by the name of Will Smith. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? I'm quite sure everyone knows who Will Smith is. Wild Wild West, Men in Black, Bad Boys, the iconic role he played as Will in A Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That brother is a millionaire 10 times over. That brother has over $100 million, and because he doesn't have his house in order, because he doesn't believe in, he believes in everything under the sun, and that's why he has a bald-headed worm from Men in Black in his house, dragging his name all throughout the internet and dreaming of men who've passed away over 25 years ago. Has that, because Will Smith doesn't have his house in order, his daughter wrote a letter to a man who passed decades before, like almost a decade and a half before she was born. Right? Or maybe, what is it? Tupac passed 95, 94. His daughter Willow probably wasn't born until around the 2000s. Right? And she's writing a letter saying how her mom would be much more happier if Tupac was alive. That's to show you how bad it's gotten in our home. Right? Look at our marriages. Our marriages aren't lasting because our house isn't in order. Right? Our marriages aren't lasting because our house is in order. And when that happens, when the marriages aren't lasting, the strong man's not in the house. If the strong man is not in the house, it's going to be easier to take over that house, right? I'm going to just show you where it says that in the Bible, right? A lot of you sisters think, listen, we're going to get that man out the house. All right, you got that man out the house, and now that child isn't listening to you. I seen a video of this sister. This sister, she was fighting her daughter like like she would fight a random woman out the streets because her daughter's not listening. Her daughter's not going to listen to her. There's no bass in her voice, right? Some of you women think that your son is going to listen to you because you're older than him and a little quicker and a little stronger. Listen, that's a boy. He's known to fall down the stairs and get back up and act like it didn't happen. Them boy children will climb all the way up to the highest part of the jungle gym and dive off, hit the ground and roll, get back up and do it again, because that pain is nothing to him, right? And you sisters thinking yelling at that boy is going to make him listen to you. It's not. He needs his father, right? He needs a strong man. And because that strong man is not in the house, that boy is not listening to you. He's not listening to anything you're saying. Matthew, Luke, John, Mark. Acts. Hold up, I'm just looking for a precept for you. So bear with me one moment. Bear with me one moment while we go and we're looking for a precept. All right, so Mark, we're in the book of Mark, chapter 3, verse 27, right? It's going to show you how you take over a so-called community of colored folks, of people of color. This is how you take over their community. This is how you get drugs in their community. This is how you get hip-hop to switch from uplifting music to gangster rap, to drill, right? Now listen, that gangster rap, that drill music, it's good music to work out to. It definitely get the blood flowing. But the results of not having a strong man in the house to filter that music. Listen, there's nothing wrong with listening to music every once in a while, right? Just like there's nothing wrong with watching the movie John Wick. If you have a problem with gangster rap music, you got to have a problem with watching John Wick, right? If there's no problem with watching John Wick, there should be no problem with drill music, right? But when you don't have a strong man in the house, the drill music, the John Wick movies, the oppressor telling your kids it's okay to eat this prescription medicine, right? All that is going to take effect because you don't have a strong man in the house. So this is Mark 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, right? How do you get into a strong man's house? Is it even possible? A brother that's strong mentally and physically, how do you get into his house to spoil his goods? You're not going to be able to do that because he's going to fight back. He's going to fight back. He's going to make sure that his people are protected. A strong man is going to give his life for his people. All right? Is going to make sure his family is taken care of. Right? Silverback definitely is onto something, right? And we're going to read it right now. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, right? How do you enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods? Well, you're going to get the answer right now. Except he will first bind the strong man, right? And then will spoil his house. Meaning you have to tell these sisters you can't get no government assistance without having the brother out. A lot of these sisters, okay. Listen, I just want to know, right? For the women who might be watching this or listening, would you rather pay 50-50 on a bill or pay the whole bill by yourself? Would you rather pay half the bill or pay the whole bill by yourself? Listen, some of these women were given a trick bag of go into the workforce. Don't take care of your husband no more. You don't have to. What you should do is go into the workforce and be a strong, independent woman. That's what they were told. Right? So doing that, naturally, a strong woman is going to clash with a strong man, because you listen, two positive forces are going to clash. It's not going to mesh together well. You're trying to give your woman some direction, and she doesn't want to take the direction. She wants to give you the direction and wants you to follow her. When your natural position in life is to lead that woman, lead your household, to potentially give up your life fighting for your household, right? That's your natural way of life. Like, we're men. A strong man is not going to let someone come into his house and think he's going to have his way with the house. No, we're going to scrap it out. We're tussling. Things are getting thrown. Tables are getting broken. Someone's getting put through a wall. You put two strong alphas in one room, they're going to clash. Right? You cannot. Listen, you should just go, Silver Tiger, you should go ask them little hats that whatever's happening in Palestine, whatever is happening with them Jewish people has nothing to do with the ISUPK. The ISUPK is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. It's for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. If you really want to answer a question, or listen, I got a question for you. Why did the Palestinian woman drive her car into the ISUPK building where so-called Black children were and Hispanic children were? That's my question for you. Aside from that, whatever is happening over there, Lord be with them. Tell them to ask Allah to stop it. Simple, right? Let's get back to what we're talking about. All right. To enter into a strong man's house, you have to bind him first. Listen, that means his woman's kicking him out. That means crack cocaine in his community. That means unalive all the Black Panthers and put dope in the community. That's what's happening, right? To get into a strong man's house, you have to bind him. Right now, so-called sisters, so-called women of color are a weapon used against men of color, right? Again, look at the movies we watch. Who is manipulating our women? The Christian churches. The oppressor is. The people who say white Jesus. They want us to, the people who want you to love your enemies, they're the ones manipulating the household, right? And our sisters. A sister is going to get up and go make food for the pastor, but then look at that brother who works a 12-hour shift and act like, listen, I don't have to do anything for you because I'm not your slave. When the pastor is not doing anything for you. The pastor is not in the house in the middle of the night watching over that daughter to make sure she's all right. The pastor is not the one in the house up all night sometimes, or the brother that's in the house jumping out of sleep. Sometimes brothers, especially, listen, there's times I'll be sleeping in my house. I got my rib and my daughter in the house with me. They're in the room. I just jump out my seat like, oh man, I gotta go to the washroom. But as I go to the washroom, and I'm coming back, I'm checking all my windows. I'm checking all the windows to make sure it's locked. I'm looking at my door, making sure it's locked. That's what a good brother does. So that I answered you and you never answered me. What was your question, Silver Tiger? Is it even important? Is it even important? Listen, again, your question is about the fake Jewish people saying they're the only Shemites, right? They're not. Asian people are Shemites. Caucasian people are Semites. Arabic people are Shemites. But again, you should take those questions and go ask the fake Jew. Go ask the Jewish people that. This has not, the ISUPK is not associated with Jewish people. Is not associated with any free Palestine. It's not associated. The ISUPK is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Period. That's it. That's the post. That's the end of the quote. Right. So again, you got to bind the strong man. Right. That's how our women are being manipulated on a regular basis. Right. And again, there is nobody more stronger. Listen, all your civil rights leaders from the 80s, they failed. They failed. I'm going to say it again. All the civil rights leaders from the 80s have failed. The Muslim mosque executed unalived Malcolm X. Martin Luther King killed black business. Like, it's that simple. Right? Today you have Palestinian people attacking black people because we have a shield on our garments, because we have a shield of David, a Dawadah on our garments. They're attacking black people. Again, the nations don't love us. We understand that. You got Palestinians, they see black people talking and wearing a shield. They want to ask us about the land of Palestine. Listen, it's all about to be turned to rubble. If you care about the land of Palestine so much, hop on a flight, go to Egypt, walk in, go fight for your people, man. Listen, no innocent people should be killed. But if you feel that strongly, go fight for them. Listen, that's your right. Go fight for them. Right now, what we're doing is for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called people of color. That's it. And again, there's people giving out billions of dollars to so many people, right? That has nothing to do with us. You want to take over a person of color's house, you attack the strong man defending that house. The house of the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, is under Commanding General YAHANNA, and that's the strongest man I know. He's been down since the 80s. While all our civil rights leaders were taking the bag and failing, Commanding General YAHANNA was standing on business. You know how Drake said standing on business? That's Commanding General YAHANNA. If you look up standing on business, you're going to find a man by the name of Commanding General YAHANNA. That's it. Right? You know how you take over, how you bind a strong man? You tell him you can have sex, right? You can lay with a sister and leave her. That's what you tell. That's what you tell a strong black man, and that's going to bind him. That's going to have him destroy his people. Again, if you want to destroy a black home, a Hispanic home, tell that brother he could enjoy a sister, and when he's done enjoying that sister, throw her away. It's weak, right? Listen, y'all are in the comments like y'all like your neighborhoods. Okay, what we do understand is the heathen nations like to see black people downtrodden. Y'all like to see people of color downtrodden. Y'all don't have to hide it. We see your racism shining through what y'all like to see, right? We understand that, listen, at times black people have become your entertainment, right? Well, that day is done. That day there's a new black man, new Hispanic man, new Native American man in the land, and our job is to free our people. Our job is to clothe our people and take care of our people. Our job is to be the watchmen, right? The people who watch over our nation and warn them that danger is on the horizon, right? we're bringing Black fathers, Hispanics, and Native American fathers back in the home. We're keeping our families together. That's our job. That's what we're doing, right? Let's go to let's jump to Job 39 and 17. And after that, I got one more. Then I'm gonna read the article that I have, right? Because again, listening, acting like listen, there's people who are acting like the streets is the way to go, right? Earlier, you had people who came in and say, does he have a degree? Listen, they're trying to ask me if I have a degree. I'm smarter than you. I'm in the I.S.U.P.K. That's how it goes, right? I am the person who's waking up Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, along with Officer Adiyar, Shayuan, and Baraka Allah in Canada, right? We give Baraka a hand. We want domination. We want to rule the earth. Listen, have y'all seen what Caucasians and Arabic people have done in the earth? Like, are y'all watching? Listen, them Asians had free will to eat whatever, and the whole Salaki. I'm not even trying to get my TikTok shut down right now. But listen, man, you want the people who uphold the dietary law. Y'all Muslims get the dietary law from us. Like, stop acting like y'all did something. Y'all didn't do nothing, right? Go read the Quran and find out who the prophets were in the Quran. You're gonna find out they were Israelites. We'll leave it at that for now. Let's go to Job. Where is the book of Job? Bear with me a moment when I find what I'm looking for. There. Before Psalms, we get Job. Let's see, before Psalms, we get Job. See the book of Job, Romans, XXVIII, or XXIX. Right, that's Romans 30. That's Job 39. We're gonna jump to the 17th verse. Right, and you wonder, listen, okay, all you brothers who are getting women, you should understand what it takes to have a woman before you get her, right? You should understand that our sisters have been sold a bunch of lies, right? So I'm going to read this so you can understand what's happening, because our sisters will quickly throw a brother on child support because she doesn't like that he has a new woman, right? Listen, the sister might have broken up with the brother because the brother he has women. Listen, Movado said me get gyal every woman go, and that brother, every time he steps into a new city, every 10 miles in a city, he gets a new woman. And that sister did not like that. She broke up with him, and she thought that brother was going to stay single. She wants that brother to stay single so she could hopefully work on him and get back with him. And he just got a new woman, and she wants to have stipulations. And because she got a new woman, and her cousins and sisters and aunties are telling her about how him and his new woman are doing so much better, she wants to keep the children away from him. Right? Job, the book of Job 39 says, because God hath deprived her of wisdom, right? Meaning the Lord taking away our sisters' wisdoms. There's no wisdom in our nation right now. What's the wisdom? You got Sexy Reds. They say she looks like Young Thug. They say she looked like Thugger. They said Thugger's not really in jail and Sexy Red's on tour, right? They say she looks like Thugger. It's talking about her anatomy in a song. When music is just trash right now. You got Ice Spice, right? Ice Spice is, listen, she was on stage with nothing. Just listen, again, our sisters want to be like Madonna. I have a message for you sisters, man. Listen, being a scandalous woman Being a woman who's not virtuous does not pay. It destroys your nation. It destroys your family. The Caucasian woman can be a scandalous woman if she wants, because Caucasian people, it's their kingdom right now. They can be scandalous and it's going to work for them. For sisters, it does not work at all. For sisters, being a scandalous woman has never paid off for us, right? Because God has deprived her of wisdom, right? The wisdom of not unaliving your own child before it comes to term. The wisdom of staying with one man, right? That's what's happening. Our sisters are not, listen, most sisters, all right, even when it comes to dating, right? And this all goes back to street life, because of this, brothers aren't in the house. Because a sister, listen, a sister, I didn't know he was like that. What do you mean he didn't know he was like that? Did you even take the time to understand who this brother was before you opened your legs to him? Most of these sisters aren't doing that. These brothers are acting like, I did not know she was going to put me on child support. Did you speak to her father before you opened her legs? Right? Did you speak to her? She said she had an ex. Did you go to that brother and ask him, is that your ex? Are you guys together? What happened? You didn't go to her mother, her sister. You didn't talk to any of her friends. Half the time, y'all brothers is capping. Y'all lying, straight up lying. You knew the sister was like that. You just wanted her flesh. You couldn't fight your own flesh. You knew the sister was like that. You knew she was a scandalous woman, right? Where are we? Neither have he imparted to her understanding. A lot of you sisters don't understand that if you go with that brother after the club and go to the Airbnb, because that's not his apartment. It's not his apartment. It's an Airbnb. Y'all ain't understanding. If you go to that brother's Airbnb after the fact, after you've left with him from the club and you sleep with him on their first night, you met him at the club, he got you a little bit of Casamigos, you drank it, you were feeling good, you danced on the dance floor, he took you home and y'all treated that bed like it was the marriage bed. The next morning, he is not calling you back, girl. Like, sis, you understand that brother's not calling you, right? A lot of brothers don't understand this. You went to that sister's house knowing she had a man, and he was at work, and you thought you were gonna play the mailman, you were gonna be Mr. Fix-It while that brother was at work, and he came back home and caught you tying fire in his bed, and now your thoughts are all over the ceiling in his bedroom. You have to understand, listen, our nation does not have understanding right now. That understanding comes with the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA. You can see, listen, just if you're on this TikTok, right, and you agree with what I'm saying, just look through the comments right now. You'll see the heathens absolutely have no understanding. The so-called black folks who follow the heathen have absolutely no understanding. They are angry that a black man is trying to tell other black people to stop committing crimes against their God. They're angry a black man is trying to get black people, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, so-called black people, so-called people of color, are trying to get those people to live a righteous lifestyle so our fathers can be in the house. And result, when our fathers are in the house, our children will not be in gangs. Our daughters will not be on OnlyFans because there's a father in the house. Right. Shout out to Barack Ali. He cutting these people up in the chat right now. They are not having a good time when Barack Ali's on it. Slovakia. Where are we? Listen, a successful house knows that there's rank and order. A successful house has a black man in it. You seen what Eve did? Eve is like the sisters of today. They're just listening to the so-called oppressor, right? That serpent in the garden was an oppressor. And that's how Eve is today, looking up to these oppressors, right? Salakia, hold up. Let's go to Isaiah 51 and 20, right? Isaiah 51 and 20. And then I'm going to read my article, and you're going to find out why I brought this up, right? Because this is what's happening in Toronto right now, right? You're seeing these children, they're being more reckless as time goes by, right? This is Isaiah 51 and 20. Thy sons have fainted. They lie at the head of all the streets as a wide bull in a net, right? Meaning, listen, a bull in a net is no bull wants to be in a net. It's going to buck. It's going to go wild trying to get out of his situation. That's what you're seeing with Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. A lot of these kids don't want to be in this situation, and they're going wild in this situation, trying to get out of it. A lot of these kids think they got to sell some dope. They got to go outside and sell some dope to get out of this situation, when that is not the case, right? They lie in the street like a wild bull in the net, right? And the article that I'm going to read after is going to highlight what I'm talking about, right? They are full of the fury of the Lord, meaning they are angry. They listen, they have the zeal. Now just imagine all these kids, the kids who are willing to go and take a life, right? They're willing to go and risk their own life and go take a life, risk their freedom to go try to take a life. What if they took that zeal and fought for their nation? What if they took that energy and fought for their nation? How much better would it be? How much better would so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans be? Instead of seeing First Nation men at Queen and Bathurst in the Atwater Metro strung out on the oppressor's dope, on Caucasian dope that comes from Middle Eastern countries, instead of seeing them strung out on that fentanyl that comes from China. Salakia, TikTok, listen, I just got to keep it raw. Sometimes that's the only thing I know how to do. I'm still trying to navigate this new way of speaking, right? But instead of so-called Native Americans on the dope that comes from China, if they were standing with Commanding General YAHANNA, how much better would it be with our nation, right? So now I got an article that I wanted to read for you. I'm going to read this article. Hold up. I got to get it right quick, right? This is what's happening in Canada right now. Let me go back, click back. Hold up 1 second. Let me get this article. Right. Police identify 17-year-old suspect in October unliving of Pickering casino security guard. That's what's happening right now in the city of Toronto. Listen, a 17-year-old is not supposed to be nowhere near a casino. What is a 17-year-old doing at a casino? Right? Who is in charge of this young man? Where is his father? Right? Listen, a lot of times young men without fathers, we hear the stories of our fathers and we want to grow up to be just like them. Right? Roxy pretending to have knowledge. Good night. Funny as hell. Listen, police identify 17-year-old suspect in October unaliving of Pickering man. Police have temporarily identified the minor and are asking the public for any information on his whereabouts. There's a Canada-wide warrant for a minor right now. There is a Canada-wide warrant for a minor right now. All right. Listen, Barack, this I just call him Nigel. Nigel probably believes that people come from monkeys. You see where he all caught up on that DNA, right? Let's get back to this. Police have temporarily identified the minor. Good night. There's a Canada-wide warrant right now for a minor who went to the Pickering casino. That casino is trash too. That casino is not really a good casino, man. It's just slots over there, and the slots take your money. You rarely win. You were better off going to Niagara. And next, why is it 17? You can't even go into a casino until 19. What's the 17-year-old doing there? All right. We'll call him TNS. Right, TNS is his name. Listen, y'all, if y'all really want to find out what's going on, y'all could just go look up this article on CBC. Right, TNS is wanted for second-degree unaliving in connection with the unaliving of Michael Trinidad, right, 34, on October 9th. Durham Regional Police told reporters Wednesday morning, although Nosworthy Smith is a minor, right? Police said they have a judge's approval to use his name and image publicity for the next 5 days under the Youth Criminal Justice Act. Authorized of his image and name will end November 11th. Right. So they wanted to catch this child. They showed his face, his image, his likeness for a few days on a Canada-wide media blitz. Right. So they could show who he is. Right. Again, this goes back to what we were saying. My sons have fainted. Right. These young men are just acting like they don't have their mind. Right. How are you? Listen, whoever was over this child is the reason why things like this is happening too. The reason why things like this is happening too is because who was over this child. Right. Just look at what's happening. You have a 17-year-old. Who's the big man? Who's the so-called OG? Who's that old head? You know, the old foot, as the youth would call him, that's supposed to be watching over this youth, right? And listen, he's not supposed to be nowhere near a casino. This is how you know whoever's over him is not even putting him on game. You can't just walk into a casino. You need your driver's license. They don't just, or you need the Ontario card. And listen, this youth might have had a fake driver's license and thought that was going to work. Here's what's happening. Your driver's license has a barcode on the back. They run it through a machine. It scans it. They know exactly who's coming in to their facilities. And you're going to fight a security guard and then find out what? Like you can't fight the security guard and you take his life. That is horrible. That is a horrible thing to have to go through. Now this child is on the run. He's on the lam. He's on the lam, right? He trying to figure it out. They probably got him stuff somewhere in some town selling dope. Listen, you ever wonder why you see so many young kids with gun charges? Because there's grown men who understand that they give this kid a gun and he gets caught, he's gonna get baby time. Because there's no violence was committed with it. He's going to get baby time. So you got grown men who are giving these young kids illegal firearms in Canada, in Toronto. Listen, it used to happen to me. I used to be one of those kids that, listen, just give it to me. I'll take it. And now I'm walking through the neighborhood with a firearm, an illegal firearm. And I feel like, listen, I'm the man now. I'm the boss of the neighborhood now. Right? This is what happens. Our sons have fainted. Right? They lie at the head of the streets as a wild bull in a net, right? And we're just in that street. We're stuck in these streets trying to get out. We're doing anything. We're being taught that, listen, go get that sister to sell her body, right? Go take that dope and go out of town and go sell it in some next town. That's what's being taught to us, right? You just look at, listen, again, I got to go into some more this article for you now so you can fully understand what's happening. There is now a Canada-wide warrant for his arrest, police said. We are pleading for the public assistance in locating him. Listen, this child's life is all the way messed up. They got a picture of him. He's in a ski mask. He's like in a Nike shiesty, right? You know the Pooh shiesty, or what people call in my city now, the bun dog, right? He's fully masked up. Right? They have a description of him. They said he has a tattoo on his left eyebrow that reads Chantel. Good night. The suspect was also a rapper. His rapper name is Baby 2. Like this man could have went and learned a trade. He could have came and got with Commanding General YAHANNA, and instead of being someone that they're gonna say destroys his community or took a life, he could have healed some lives in Canada, in Toronto, in the Jane and Finch community. Right? He could have brought his whole community back to life. Now he's on the run. Right? Let's go back to Proverbs. Proverbs 22:6. Proverbs 22:6. We're going to be ending this class sooner or later, right? We got Proverbs 22, verse 6. Let me find it. Let me get right with you. 19 XIX is 19. XXII 22, right? In verse 6. Train up a child. Listen, you want to know how you keep the so-called POC community, people of color, right? The black and brown community, okay? You want your son off dope. You want your daughter out that strip club. You want her to never go into the strip club. Listen, y'all seen what Benzino's going through? Barack, get me right. Is Benzino? It doesn't even matter. Listen, we're just going to use Benzino as an example, right? Y'all see what Benzino is going through? Benzino is angry that his daughter, Koi, is kicking his back in right now. Koi LeRae is kicking Benzino's back in. Right? She talking about, listen, he wasn't there. Benzino all got to come out. Down there, the man sound like he about to cry. Sound like he about to cry. He's saying, listen, I had you in mansions and took care of your brothers and your whole family, and it wasn't until your mom didn't want to be with me that things started going left. But she's kicking his back in. Listen, Benzino said not too long ago, Busta Rhymes, his peer. Busta Rhymes would be Benzino's peer when it comes to music. They're from that same generation. Busta Rhymes, Benzino used to give Busta, I don't know, well, I'm just wondering now, and I gotta go back and check. Did Benzino not give Busta Rhymes 5 mics in the source? Is that why Busta Rhymes is now doing a song with Koi LeRae, acting like, listen, musically, if you listen to that song, you think Bus is giving Koi LeRae the business. It looks like listen to that song. It sounds like Busta Rhymes is in the bedroom with Koi LeRae standing on business. Benzino doesn't like that. He said, damn, Busta's like my pair. Busta Rhymes should have let me know. Right? Well, listen, Benzino was supposed to be in his daughter's life. Now I get it. Sometimes a woman doesn't want to be with the man. She gets primary custody of the child. And it's hard for that brother to be the disciplinary figure in that child, especially when the child's not with you. You seen what happened, what Kanye's daughter said? Kanye's daughter turned around and said she likes it better at Kanye's house. Right? And you want your sons and daughters to not be victim of the streets. Right? And streets just don't mean gang stuff. Listen, there's some of these sisters are in the streets right now. They're in the streets. They're in the strip club streets. Right? You don't want that. There's a way of life that you're supposed to live, right? You want to find out how to live that life, you got to get with Commanding General YAHANNA. ISUPK Toronto, I.S.U.P.K Montreal. All right? You got to get with them. Listen, get with us, and we're going to show you how you live, how you basically make sure your children are okay, right? Make sure your children don't get caught up in the street life, right? Again, this is Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child, right? Meaning give that child some training. Listen, you got to train up that child, man. You can't have your daughter turn into a chromas. You can't have your daughter turn into a chromas. Listen, there's another sister. There's a sister on TikTok. Her name is Tin Man. She is from Scarborough. Earlier today, her and her baby father, when they're not arguing on live, this sister and her baby father went to the hospital to give birth to a girl. Now listen, congratulations on that baby girl. Hopefully y'all can come into the school and learn how to let that relationship stay and blossom and love each other the way y'all, because clearly y'all love each other. Y'all are still together, right? Y'all are having babies and stuff, right? So listen, aside from all the drama, when they're not having drama, they're on TikTok. Well, listen, I'll say it like this: when they're not showing love to each other, they're on TikTok in full WWE mode. It's a Royal Rumble on their live streams. But today they had a baby and it seemed like everything was all love, right? Now, I brought that up because you're not supposed to see them scrapping. You're not supposed to see them take to TikTok lives and have a full-blown argument about family business. You're supposed to train up these children to understand what love is, to understand how to love each other. You have a problem in your relationship, you're supposed to go get counsel. Let Commanding General YAHANNA give your relationship counsel, right? Listen, there's generals. We got generals. General Mahyman, the best marriage counselor in the universe. I didn't even know you could get marriage counsel until the ISUPK, right? You can get fair, unbiased counsel in the ISUPK, right? Train up a child in the way he should go. You train that boy not to sell dope. You train that boy to understand, like, listen, selling dope is horrible. It is terrible for us. You train up a child in the way he should go. You train that brother to, when you have a problem with your brother, you talk to him one-on-one. You do not pull a firearm on your brother and try to unalive him because you guys are talking to the same woman. A lot of these brothers are killing each other or unaliving each other over tree bark. Listen, shout out General Mahyman, because when I heard him say that, like, it really put things into perspective. A lot of brothers are unaliving each other over tree bark. That's cold. Now you understand how diabolical our oppressor is. We're unaliving each other over tree bark, right? Train up a child in the way he should go. Make him understand, listen, selling dope to that man's mother, even though he's not your brother, is a horrible thing. Someone's going to sell dope to your daughter, right? That's exactly what it is, right? So, okay, what the hell is TikTok doing? TikTok messing around, right? Selling dope, and listen, pimping another man's daughter is horrible. Someone's gonna pimp your daughter. You go and unalive that man, someone's gonna unalive your child, and it's gonna hurt. You're gonna be at their funeral. You're gonna be crying to them detectives to solve your child's unaliving. But hey, didn't you unalive someone? Now you want someone to solve your child's unaliving? Good night. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. You train these young men up from early on how to live. Listen, the pastor is not doing it. Granny bought Pastor a Benz. I'm going to give you some bars right now. Granny bought the pastor a Benz, and then you and 5 of your friends walk your brother out the church. Granny bought your pastor a Benz, then you walked your brother out the church with 5 of your friends. Right? That's what's happening. The pastor is not training up these children. The pastor don't give a damn about what the hell is going on in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. He just wants that fly car and that suit. That's what he wants. Right? You see Coyle Ray. You see chromons, you see all these sisters, right? Look at all of, listen, there is no imagination to what Toronto rapper females look like. They make Toronto rappers, the females, they make a pretty trash song. And brothers are paying attention to it because this girl, she bent over naked. The whole video is over her. She bent over naked. And she's like, I'm making good music. Nah, sis, that music sucks. They looking at you. That's it. Half of these brothers be listening to this stuff on mute. They just be watching these sisters do their thing. It's like YouTube has strip teasers. YouTube is full of strip teasers. Instagram, TikTok, all of these social medias are full of strip teasers of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right now, there's a challenge called the Ceiling Challenge, where I was reading an article, these sisters got kicked out of school for doing the Ceiling Challenge. The Ceiling Challenge is where they put a phone somewhere on the light on the ceiling, and now it's looking down, and they start dancing and basically doing things they should do for their husband, but on camera. Salakia. And they're getting kicked out. Like, listen, one thing you're gonna understand is life flashes before your eyes real fast. Today you're 20, tomorrow you're 45, and you're like, damn, where did life go? This is why we have to train up our children so they understand who we are, and they should understand who we are. Right? Not understanding who we are leads to death. Right? Listen, there's a way that man thinks is right, but it just leads to death. Right? And that's what happens. The way that you think you should lead your life is not really the way that you should lead your life. You don't want to lead your life like that. And thinking that that's the way to go is going to lead to you being unalived. It's going to lead to more brothers and sisters in the streets falling victims to violence, falling victim to the jail cells, right? Listen, there's another thing that people say, right? Some people will say, listen, my daughter can't have relationships, but my son can. Right, that's what they're saying. They're saying my daughter cannot have relationships, but my son can. Right, again, you got to train up a child. Right, because what's going to happen is you're telling your son he can have a relationship. He's doing it to someone else's daughter. He's laying with someone else's daughter, and he doesn't even know how to be a father or a husband. You didn't train him up to do that. Look at what Boozy did. Okay, I got a next one. I got a next one for you, right? Marlon Wayans, the brother from White Chicks, right? This is the same brother that during the boat brawl, right? He was basically saying black people of color should just get along. We shouldn't have defended ourselves, right? That brother played a Caucasian woman for a movie, right? In White Chicks. One of his sons came out later and said he's a cross-dresser. Said they're transgender. Said they're alternative community, and not Bob no more, or Brenda. Right? That man did not change up. He didn't train up his child. That's what happened. Listen, you don't train up your child. Those are the results you're gonna get. Don't be angry at us. We're just telling you what to do. Train up your child. There's a way of order. There's a way of life that we're supposed to live. Right? All right, let's I'm gonna read this last one, Proverbs 3:31. Right, a lot of brothers and sisters are jealous of the oppressor. Right, a lot of us are jealous of our oppressor. So we think trying to get to his lifestyle. You want his lifestyle. You want the 2-car garage. You want the Bentley. You want the business. You want everything that you see your oppressor got. Well, listen, your oppressor committed crimes for it. Your oppressor commits crimes and holds himself not guilty. If you committed crime in your oppressor's kingdom, he's going to hold you guilty. It's so he can be rich. It's so you can go work in his town. Right? Listen, you're guilty. Now go work in Kingston, Ontario for the next 10, 15 years. Or don't work in Kingston, Ontario. Just go chill out in Kingston, Ontario for the next 10 and 15 years until they grant you parole, and they're going to employ one of their cousins to watch over you. And while their cousin watches over you, they know that you got such a bad drug addiction, or you're going to find some way to try and feed your family, that you're just going to turn around and do the same things that you were doing in jail or outside in jail. Meaning you were selling dope outside. Now you're selling dope in jail. Who do you think is getting the $5,000, $10,000 a trip to bring in the dope into the jails? The cousin that's watching over you, the oppressor's cousin. Listen, the oppressor's cousin arrested you. The uncle tried you. The father set judgment over you. Now the cousin is watching over you in the jails and charging you to bring this dope in so you can sell the dope. Good night. Envy thou not the oppressor, right? Don't try to be like the oppressor. Don't accept any of his ways and choose none of his ways. That's what the verse is saying. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Don't be like the oppressor. It's a horrible thing to be like the oppressor. Right? So once again, I'm Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA. Check this out. Check this out right here. This is the 55th annual Lord's Passover. It's by I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA. It's going to be in Durham, North Carolina, April 20th. Pay your Passover fee. It's only $200. It's less than a Beyonce concert. Slovakia. Right? Listen, we're going to have a bunch of events from the 17th to the 21st. A bunch of events. Listen, you should just go look at previous Passovers and hear how brothers and sisters talk about it. You want to get to the safest place in the earth? That's going to be wherever this event is. Durham, North Carolina, from the 17th to the 21st is going to be the safest place in the earth for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Once again, I'm Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK, right? The 55th annual Passover is coming up. You want to check it out. You want to be there. You're going to enjoy the lamb, the unleavened bread. There's going to be a bunch of single sisters in beautiful dresses. Y'all better get there. Listen, the ISUPK brother is going to snatch up these sisters. Salakia. I ain't just going to try and promote it like that, but listen, sisters is going to be there. You're going to want to be there. And the only way you're gonna get one of them sisters too is if you get in class. It's good night. Yeah, y'all. A lot of y'all got them Jada Pinkett Smiths in your house. Y'all got them Kiki Palmers. Kiki Palmer is dancing on stage with Mr. Herpes. Good night. It's horrible. Again, Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the ISUPK under Commanding General YAHANNA. Shalom.